Hello, I'm Seamless, and this is Wednesday, which means it's time for a new viewer track review video. I'm actually doing regularly, yay, it's happening again. Anyway, if you would like your track to be considered for a review, all you have to do is get up on my Discord and drop that track in the submissions channel. There's rules, there's mods there to help you out with the rules, everything is cool. Also, I'd like to take a second to explain what you're looking at here when you see stuff, because I was testing clearly. I have all these, things on or whatever, but none of them are audible because they're all disabled in the mixer. They're just on so that we can see what they're doing, but I'm not hearing them actually do anything to whatever track I'm listening to. So I'm hearing them as given. Anyway, this first track is, I had the name, it's called Finding Planets, and I'm saying that first because I'm stalling until I can find Gresi, Gresi, the name of the person who made this song. Here it is, and this is what it sounds like. That was cool. A couple of things I would think about this. First, I like this sound a lot. That seemed like a kind of an odd thing for me to single out, but maybe it's just because it's fun to see the visual aspect of like this chord being built out of essentially a scale. And it's just it did the job of filling up that kind of spectral backgroundness with the tone and key of the song. And it's very clever. And it's a good way to create a nice like background bed for stuff. So this track is actually a great background bed. Just about everything that's in it is basically like, okay, cool, now it needs a lead instrument. So you might be thinking, there's totally a lead in this song, like this thing at the end here. But that thing doesn't have the presence required to be a lead in this track. Honestly, where I kind of thought you were going to go with this, like, is a little more kind of Daft Punky and get like a kind of talky, like, lead going on sort of thing. But pretend you're Haywire and write one of those. That's, yeah, fill in the rest of the album, we'll do it. But you know what I mean by that? Like, there needs to be, like, in my mind, when I heard this, especially this beat, I was hearing, like, staccato-y playing, like, offbeat, syncopated stuff going on. Like, do-do-do-do-do-do-do-boop-boop-boop-boop-boop, like, sort of stuff. And it's because it just felt like there are so many beats with nothing happening, even though there are, like, this is very full. This is actually a very full and clean mix. It's just that it's very solid in the notes department. Not a lot of motion there. And I think the fact that the lead itself is just solid notes the whole time is part of why, like, I didn't even really detect it as a lead. It feels like it's part of the background. Other than that, like, if that was intentional, like, if your choice was to make this as a kind of a background thing, then this is excellent. This is honestly great, like, video game caliber kind of backgroundiness. Save for how hard it hits, but, you know, they could tell you that if they tried to actually use it. Tell you what, though, about something. If this track doesn't feel, like, tight enough for you, I think it might have something to do with your sub. And I was especially weirded out when I saw... Mouse. Hello. Alright, when I saw this at the end, this kind of fade out. It makes me want to ask, are you using reverb on your sub this whole time? Because it's not very clean. And now FL has locked. Nope. It's just ignoring my mouse. I think my mouse is dying. Anyway. Okay, now you want to work. So yeah, it's cleaner, separate sub. You might find that, like, mixing together something, even with, like, sidechaining and whatnot, because you did correct. You kind of well see it, how well the sidechain kind of fits in with stuff. So it's mostly about, like, because now you have gone so hard to cut up some of these things, you are also able to go harder on the things, the cleaner, more delicate stuff, because it doesn't have to survive against the hard stuff. I recommend that for many things, including an addition of a lead when you get there for this, if that's the thing you're doing for this track. Anyway, that was Finding Planets by Gresi. My God, I'm so bad at this, figuring out people's names. Okay, and this one is Still No Title Idea by Hubani. This is one of the admins on my server, and in fact, he basically put together the whole system about ways that submissions work and all the fun stuff that Discord does. And this is one of his tracks. Here we go. Come on, here you go. Ooh. Well then, that was quite nice. I liked just about everything about this, especially like how nice the drums are. I really like how hard this kick is and how hard this snare is. Although I have some weird advice to give you about that, and we'll get there. Before we get there, though, I want to talk about your intro and your breakdown. The breakdown is very easy. My solution for a perceived problem, the perceived problem being that it takes a long time to get here, and I would suggest you combine the breakdown and this bit. Like, just get into this part just twice as fast. Just get rid of this, get rid of that, do that, and then get into doing this. And then also do the same thing that I'd recommend you do in the intro. Like, you basically did that in the intro. Where I would not recommend going full power with your bass or your drums until dropped happens. So, like, that's okay, like, a bit. Like, I like these sound design moments. Like these guys. That's pretty cool. I still wouldn't recommend going on the high, like on the hard or the sub. Like I would either turn it down a little bit or high pass it. I would kind of like, because the idea is that we don't want to be like overtrained on this tone before the best part of it. Because here though, we're basically being treated to the full power of the drop right here. And it's training us to kind of just be used to it. That's all. That's what I'm saying. So reduce that a little bit, and then this place will just feel so much more powerful. So now let's talk about the weird advice. I think that you should make your kick less powerful. Boy, doesn't that sound weird. And it's because there is a discrepancy in power between the kick and the snare. There's a lot of reasons why that's the case, but here's the thing, is that I don't actually want you to change your snare at all. Your snare in this mix is perfect. It is the best kind of snappy. It is the best kind of not over distorted. It has snap. It has the low end of your freaking fundamental. Like, it's all pretty much perfect. And everything that you would do to make it more powerful, to match the kick's power, would make it less good. And I would say that like making the kick less powerful actually isn't that big a deal. You just kind of turn it down and maybe low pass a little bit. And that's because I think if you listen to a lot of the drum and bass that this is, that you might notice the kick is actually a lot less present than it is in your mind than you think it would need to be. And I personally think it's basically for this kind of thing, that you know why they want them to overshadow things that can't be as hard as it. Like, I eventually got kind of used to this, like how hard this is, but like it makes the snare feel less good, despite how perfect it is, despite how nicely you managed to get that in there with the mix. So to preserve how good that is, I would recommend coming down just a little bit on how hard the kick is. And then I think that would make this work out. I like the progression. I like the music in here. I like all these slidey things. I like most of the stuff that happened. Just that this part took too long. Other than that, dope track is dope. That was Still No Title Idea by Hubani. Hubini. Your booty. Project Hardcore Wavy 2. Okay, I definitely downloaded this from someone with a name. I don't remember, and it's not labeled. Or I guess that's the name, Project Hardcore, and the song is Wavy 2. Okay, we're going. It's happening. Nope. Is this Christian rock? Okay, this was cool. I'm not recording anything. Stop it. Click. Click. Anyway, so this mix was beautiful. Like, and I don't just mean pretty music, although it was very pretty music. I mean, damn, he mixed this well. This whole part, especially, was extremely well mixed. It's not easy to make orchestra stuff be this loud and sound still like it's supposed to. Like, getting a sub-frequency to ride with orchestra stuff and not just wreck it. It's a hard business. So this was great. And for whatever that mix is to also work for what you're doing here is nothing short of just incredible skill. So good job. Except for this. This was a problem. At least for me. And the way that I interpreted the taste for this, because like, I kind of see what this is normally like. My biggest main problem with this track is that there is no variation at all in the music. The music is great and the build is great and like it doesn't get boring, so it's not like you needed it necessarily. It's just that by the time we got here, we got there. You know what I mean? And then this section, the bridge, right? The sub is your enemy in this. That kind of galloping stuff you were doing is great. Like, I love it in this and that guy, but like it's happening fast enough and sharp enough at this level to come across as an oscillation, as a tone, and it sounds gnarly. I also got up and went and monitored this at appropriate bass range, because it turns out if your frequencies can't be generated at your speaker, if you go far enough away, it will, because it is a wavelength thing. It still is not clean. This section is not clean. Every other part of this is, even the end bit, which, like, I knew that was coming. And I also thought it was interesting that this is the part that decided to clip, but I guess it's the most distorted bit. Other than that, though, like, you obviously know what you're doing mix-wise. This is excellent. Okay, what? Nope, don't need a full screen. Just gonna move on along. All right, so this one is, I actually never learned how to pronounce ZH. I know it's not pronounced like ZA, at least it's like, whatever. Anyway, ZHAOS, and Inside, and Litty McGuire with 2 T's. ID. Flavor. Click. No, don't play with the thing. Click and drag. Click. I need a new mouse. You need a new mouse a lot. Okay. See, it doesn't... There's a too hard. Okay, we're gonna do this manually. Oh, right there. Boop. Okay. My mouse is like accidentally double clicking, not clicking, like it's dying. It is a dying mouse. But before that mouse dies, all these guys, flavor. I assume that was a work in progress. Pretty good for a whip. Pretty good for anything. This is a great track. This is awesome. Like I love this extremely dark kind of like trappy vibe that happens in the beginning. So what's fun about this is that you get to go full power, but it doesn't like not so much spoil you for the drop. This is pretty fun. The only really major technical concern was that not all of these sounds had the presence that I think they needed. I pointed out one while it's happening because I wanted to address it. Was it over here? No. It was over here. Is this guy? Nope, right there. Oh, crap. I really wish I could do both. Yeah, okay. So this bit right there. You can excuse me. You can pretty much see. I definitely clicked on the area. Well, it's like playing a video game. Oh, laggy, guys. You see it like not caring about my like. You see it not caring about like my clicking and drag. Anyway, you can pretty well plainly see. Like we heard the beat for a second and it was neat, but like immediately after that, like because we also heard this like texture in there, this moment with some of this higher expect, and then immediately after that there was a version of this sound that was harder and louder. Right there, this guy. Like it's basically this guy but harder, and so it just kind of weirds me out. Is all because just gets me weirded out about the flow. Other than that, just about every part of this was dope except like the clipping. And this is an MP3, so you must have pushed this pretty hard in your highs, because like typically the only reason you ever see a frequency jump up above there like that is because it just couldn't handle it. Honestly, I don't try to do that too much because you can see what happens. It clips. On the other hand, though, it sounds awesome. Like it hits really hard, and I like that. Obviously, there is still the danger of what happens when you do actually let a thing clip like this. If you're mastering with anything that lets you want to engage oversampling on your business, because what's happening if you jam these frequencies up into a thing so hard, when they're really high amplitude, some of those frequencies are going to be faster than the sample rate, right? Like, well, the sample points anyway. Actually, I'm pretty sure we can look at this. Let's go do that. Not spectrum. So these dudes. So the sample obviously can only go up to maximum 0 dB, but sometimes what happens is that there's frequencies in between the samples, like these curvatures that occur in the middle of samples that like the compressor can't do anything about because the compressor can only actuate the samples. So oversampling, like in Maximus, for example, you go to the menu, there's a menu for it. What oversampling does is that it increases the sample rate for that plugin's processing specifically so that I can catch what it refers to as intersample peaking. And part of that, I think, is exactly what's causing this to have clipping. And all that would do is just stop it from doing so. Like, because the samples will always be up, the maximum up there, but you don't want what's going on between them to clip. And the reason you don't want that is because as dope as it might sound on my system, as dope as it might sound on your system, you have no guarantee whatsoever how it will sound on anything else. Versus something that you keep down below 0 dB, where you can more or less assume that just about all civilization is designed technology around that particular standard. Yeah. Moving on. Timduces, Smash Ball. Not gonna let me do it, are you? So like, there's a click and it'll go, but if I click down too hard, it like loses the click and drag. All right. Wow, that's extremely fat. Remember what we were just talking about? Holy crap. Okay, this is gonna sound interesting, I hope. Here we go. That wave folding. All right, so that was very high on the dope scale. That was obviously quite dank, but even your quiet parts peaked. That was so much. This is so loud. Like, I love it. I almost don't want to tell you not to make it loud, but like, it's a good idea to not. So, but let's talk about some things that are weird about this track. Like, for example, the only way I could tell the kick is happening is because a hole appears in your mix. Otherwise, other than like, but that's not the hole that the kick is in. Like, the sub is happening there, but the level is too low. Your kick isn't like loud enough, but it also is too loud. And I have to imagine it's because of how hard you're pushing it, because you can straight up see the distortion. That's what this is. If you ever wanted to see what distortion looked like harmonically, this is, here it is, it's happening, and then the multiple, and then the multiple, and then the multiple, and it's just because this is getting bummed up into the thing and causing it to do that. The way you make it not do that is actually just to turn it down, but of course that would kind of probably wreck how cool this sounds, which is the big problem. This is a huge question, isn't it? Because this is way beyond, like, deafening territory if you listen to this at any kind of appreciable level. I'm monitoring very low, you know, for recording. I have no idea how low you're monitoring when you're making this, but I hope it's considerable, because damn. And what else? So, okay, some of those sounds were dope. Excellent application of just sign shaping and other kinds of like wave folding type distortion on all the stuff. Like, I just liked this track. Like, just making it quieter is just an amount. Like, I don't know. Honestly, you might not need to. But let's also look at this. Like, this is an MP3, and do you see how loud those high? Like, look the scope. Normally, what you see is you see that wall and then nothing. But this was pushed so loud and so hard above zero that you like just there's high frequencies up there in the MP3. Awesome. Particularly rad. Like, this has gone so far over the edges to be awesome, which is basically how everything awesome's ever been done. So as like a intentional technique, damn, Dion Timmer would be proud. That neat. That's pretty much it for today. That's what I got. These guys here. If you have any is that what I want to start talking about? Yeah, if you want to get your stuff up onto this, you can go up at the Discord and submit your tracks into the submission channel. Follow the rules and all that stuff just to make my life easier so I know who you are and what your track is called. And if you have any questions about this, please let me know. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and all that good stuff. And as usual, have a nice day.